life, all of us are on a journey. We're all heading somewhere. Where is it we're heading? You know, I want to tell you about a time in my life where I was heading in a certain direction, and I had a major change of direction, I guess. And it started with a particular event that occurred that really got me thinking. So I was in the back of a friend's car, driving along on the north coast between a small town called Alstonville, heading into Lismore. It was night time. It was raining. In fact, there was a really bad storm, and my mate was driving. It was an old Monaro, and unfortunately the windscreen wipers just weren't keeping up with the water that was falling onto the window of the car. So there was him in the front, another friend sitting next to him, and I was there in the back, and windscreen wipers working overtime, water just pouring down, oncoming traffic, headlights. He'd slowed right down, but it was just really hard to see the road in front of us. And if you know the area, it's not your everyday sort of city street. It's a country area. There's a lot of turns. There's no lighting, so I guess it's a little bit hilly as well. So it's not hard to kind of go over the edge sometimes. But we're cruising along, and I'm a bit concerned about everything. But my mate's a good driver, and next thing you know, lightning strikes somewhere in front of us, and it was close, very close. It almost looked like it had struck the road in front of us, but it was somewhere in front of us, and we just weren't coping. And that's funny. At that point, I thought, oh crap, we're gonna die. I just thought we're either gonna have a collision with another car or go off the road, because visibility was just so poor. And it's funny, at those times in your life, you kind of think of God. I remember sitting in that back seat, and I'd gone to church when I was a kid and growing up, and I believed in God, but at this point in my life, I just found that I'd just gone really far from God. But like I say, at those times in your life, you cry out to God, and that's what I did. And I just remember praying pretty simply, Jesus, save us, help us. And obviously I was, just praying this in my mind to God in the back seat of the car. And my mate, he kept driving, but quite soon after that, he had an opportunity to pull over to the side of the road, which he did. And he sort of pulled over and stopped the car, and with the idea, I guess, of waiting till the storm had passed, or the most severe of it had passed. And I thought nothing of it. I thought, great, we're safe, we'll be okay. Until I looked out of the window of the car, and there on the side of the road, country area, was a sign. And I'm telling you, it was the middle of nowhere, but here's this sign. And it's obviously put up by some church, and it's got some sort of garble on it. But the words that hit me as soon as I look at it are, Jesus saves. Now, I don't know what you think about coincidences, but that was a coincidence, but it wasn't a fluke. I believe that God was speaking to me there, and I'd prayed and asked Him to save me, and He had, and He wasn't going to let me get away without realising that that we hadn't just been able to pull over and be in safety just for some fluky reason. God had intervened, and He had answered my prayer. At the time, whenever I saw that, I just had an overwhelming feeling, an overwhelming sense of God's presence just surround me. It's You know, it's not something that you just sort of make up in your head. I seriously felt a presence of God, and it was almost like he just wrapped his arms around me, and you know, I had just had this sense like he was saying to me, I've been here all the time, just waiting for you to cry out to me. And shortly after, my mate started driving and kept going home, and I just had that sense of God and his presence in my life. And in that car, it was just overwhelming the whole way home. And I remember just sitting there in the back seat and just crying quietly, because I realised that God was there and that God cared about me. And that was a pivotal point in my life, I guess, because I'd gotten so far from my faith and my belief in God. To have that happen, it just woke me up. And from that point on, I was looking for God.